We put a caller to the GSPCA today, and they referred us indeed to the GRAI, which is the Greyhound Rescue Association of Ireland, and their representative Una Jensen joins me on the line today. Una, morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Good. I mean, there is concern out there, and we spoke about it yesterday, about the export of greyhounds to China, but I mean, you're there to rescue them.
Well, I work for Greyhound Rescue Association of Ireland, and we're an umbrella group for a number of welfare organisations and concerned individuals who work really hard to try and improve the standards of welfare of greyhounds in Ireland. And of course that includes transportation of Irish greyhounds to other countries.
And are they treated well normally in Ireland?
It really varies. There are some people who are racing greyhounds who treat their greyhounds really, really well, and who hold on to them after their career is over, who treat them like pets. And there are also a lot of people who are racing who work with welfare organisations and rescue organisations to find new homes for these greyhounds when their racing career is over. But equally, there are people who are not so good.
And what are greyhounds like as pets, can I ask you?
Greyhounds are fantastic pets. They're really, really good for people in all kinds of different situations, for elderly people, for families. They're also known for people, they're very, very, very good dogs for apartments because they tend to be very low energy. So greyhounds they're bred for short bursts of energy rather than for stamina. So usually what you'll find is they're low exercise dogs, so they only usually need 2 20-minute walks a day, and that's enough for them. Additionally, they're very clean. They tend to be hypoallergenic. They don't have the same undercoat that most dogs do. So a lot of people who find that they are allergic to dogs are actually okay with greyhounds. There's really a lot of wonderful things about them. And
how are they around children? How would they be around cats and all dogs and all of that?
Well, with children, they tend to be fine. With small dogs, they're usually fine. What normally happens with greyhounds, if you adopt it from a welfare organisation, from a greyhound rescue, what they'll usually do is they'll have that dog in their care for a number of weeks. And during that period of time, the dog can be tested with small animals, with cats. So normally what will happen is the dog will be assessed, and if you're interested in adopting a greyhound, you can work with a rescue to find a greyhound who's suitable for your particular situation.
And are there many dogs up for adoption, greyhounds rather, up for adoption, do you know, currently?
There's a huge amount of greyhounds up for adoption, and if anybody is interested in adopting a greyhound, if you go onto our website, which is grai.ie, you'll find a list of greyhound rescue organisations, and you can contact those directly and find out what dogs they have in there. But additionally, some of the larger animal welfare organisations like the ISPCA, the DSPCA, Dogs Trust, they usually have a large number of greyhounds and lurchers on their books who are available for adoption. Also, this weekend, Greyhound Rescue Association of Ireland is having our annual walk for greyhounds. It's our 6th walk. We'll be in Phoenix Park in Farmley. So if any of your listeners are around Dublin or can get to Dublin, we usually have a couple of hundred people with greyhounds, with lurchers, with all breeds of dogs. So for people who are interested in meeting greyhounds or just talking to people who've adopted greyhounds, you can find out all about the breeds. And it's like a fun family event. We're starting at about 12:30 p.m. We'll be doing a short walk around Phoenix Park, approximately 4 kilometres, and then we'll be kind of just hanging around in Farmley, maybe just meeting, just chatting about our dogs, taking photographs, enjoying hopefully a bit of sunshine.
Well, hopefully, if it is, this weekend you will have sunshine. I'm just looking at your. I'm looking at your website here. I mean, there's some very, very, very nice looking dogs there. The concern, I suppose, we got yesterday was that some greyhound, because we would have a lot of greyhound owners in Galway, that they would all be painted with the one brush, that they're all involved. Once the dog is now used to them, that they get rid of the dog. But they say that's not the case. That a lot of the Galway dogs would certainly be housed with family members or otherwise.
There is some brilliant greyhound rescue organisations in the country and in Galway as well, and there are several hundred dogs coming through those organisations every year and being rehomed, and that's a testament to the good greyhound owners, people who do genuinely look after their dogs. But there are also a lot of people who are not taking care of their dogs, or who see the dogs simply as a disposable commodity, and that's what's feeding this export problem. So, and I was listening to Anne's really good interview from yesterday, and what basically happens with the greyhounds is, first of all, within Ireland, there's an idea that most racing greyhounds go on to have a successful racing career, and that is, it's a myth, because a large number of greyhounds, they're just not fast enough to race in places like Galway Racetrack or in Shelbourne Park in Dublin. So what happens is, in a lot of cases, these dogs are just viewed by their owners as worthless. So some greyhound owners, what they'll do is try to recoup some money just by selling the dogs on for export, because if of course you take your dog to a veterinarian to have it euthanized, usually there's a charge, can be 50 quid, can be 70 quid, sometimes it can be more. So what happens then is some of these people, rather than paying for their dogs to be euthanized, they'll try and find a way to get some money back. And there are brokers who place ads online, or often racing publications, and they offer cash for what are seen as substandard dogs, and then go on to place them with international buyers. And in a lot of cases, these dogs are changing hands for tiny sums of money. You're looking at like €100, €200 sometimes. The dogs are just seen as commodities, so they're treated as if they're disposable.
So then they're shipped out. I mean, but the shipping costs alone to get them out to China must be quite expensive. So if they
depends
don't,
on the number. Depends on the number of dogs that are being moved in a particular shipment. If you try and ship one dog, sure, it'll cost you a lot of money. But if you're trying to ship 24 dogs, it might not cost a lot of money. And in the particular case that Anne discussed yesterday on your show, the shipment of 24 dogs which went to the UK, these guys were trying to do it as cheaply as possible. And the reason that shipment was sent back was because they were being they were being transported in really shoddy crates. The transportation was refused because they just weren't seen as being safely transported.
And are they normally transported by air then?
It can depend. It depends where they're coming from. I mean, as I mentioned yesterday, most of the dogs that were going to the Canidrome track in Macau were coming from Australia. But in 2014, the Australian government and the racing body condemned that, and they've put a complete ban on dogs going from Australia to Macau. So what's happened there is the Macau track are desperate for dogs, and other countries are stepping in to fill that void, and unfortunately Ireland has come up there.
So the demand is there, and there's money then to feed that demand.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, I should also point out that Macau is not the only place that Irish greyhounds are being transported to. We have a lot of Irish dogs who are going to Spain for illegal hunting or illegal racing. Dogs are now going to Romania to race. Dogs are going to Argentina, to Portugal, to Pakistan for coursing. Irish dogs are going all over the world, and there's just not enough regulation of this.
So can the Minister for Agriculture, this would come under, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Agriculture and Marine.
Could the Minister for Agriculture just not make a blanket ban and say, no, that's it? No export of greyhounds?
It's difficult. It is difficult to do that, and particularly when you're looking at EU states like Spain and Portugal. I think that really the IGB needs to step up to the mark here, the Irish Greyhound Board, because what the Greyhound Board of Great Britain has done is they've issued a blanket statement to their members saying nobody can send dogs to Macau, and if they're found sending dogs to Macau, they will be banned from the industry. There will be really big fines, and the IGB can very easily do this. What they really need to do is foster a culture within the racing community of people taking care of their animals and people taking responsibility of their animals right through the life cycle. There's just the amount of dogs that are being destroyed in Ireland it's absolutely disgraceful, you know, and it's an embarrassment to our country, particularly when we already have this terrible international reputation for being the puppy farm capital of Europe. It's not acceptable in this day and age to treat dogs as disposable commodities. I mean, if it was Jack Russells, if it was Labradors, people would be absolutely horrified. But because it's greyhounds, there just isn't really enough care for this issue.
All right. Well, if they want to get further, if they go to GRAI.ie for further details, Una Jansen, they can do so. We'll keep fighting the fight with you on this one. We will put a call into the new Minister for Agriculture and see what his thought process on this is. But Una Jansen, thank you for joining us from the GRAI.ie website. And again, that is the Greyhound Rescue Association of Ireland, if you want to get further details. And good luck with their walk in the Phoenix Park. And again, that's taking place this weekend, and loads on their website on that as well, GRAI.ie.